What's up, fellow fishing fanatic? I am at the Bassmaster Classic, walking around the expo, asking the pros about bass fishing myths. You're not gonna wanna miss this.
Brandon Cobb here. So when it comes to bass fishing myths, there's thousands of them out there. But one that I kind of think of as a myth is everybody thinks you have to use light line on pressured fish to get them to bite. And my opinion on that myth that fish can see your line is they don't see your line, but your line affects your presentation of your bait. So the most important thing is have line where your bait presents effectively, but they're not gonna bite that 6 when they wouldn't bite that 8. It's just they're not biting. So it's more your presentation than is they see the line.
My name's Jocumsen, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, here to fish my second Bassmaster Classic. My bass fishing myth is that you can't catch fish on a glide bait year round, and you can. You just got to keep throwing it.
Hey guys, I'm Drew Cook. The biggest myth that I hear a lot is that the biggest female spawn first. That is not true at all. I think personally bass spawn multiple times per year, and it's not always the big ones first.
Christie here, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. One of the bass fishing myths that I have heard is that the spawn happens when the water gets 62. I've seen it happen at 54, I've seen it happen at 62, and I've also seen it happen at 74. The bass spawn when they're ready to spawn, and there's a lot more variables than just the water temperature. There's lake level, there's time of year, length of day. There's just a lot more variables than 62-degree water temperature.
Hey guys, Josh Wiesner here, Bassmaster Classic qualifier. I want to talk to you today about a little thing with rods that I think a lot of guys overthink, and that is using a bait caster over a spinning rod. Don't overwhelm yourself if you're not able to use a bait caster correctly. I use a spinning rod a lot, and I just, like, here's an example. Here's a St. Croix with a small jig, probably a 5/16 or 3/8 ounce jig, and I can catch 10-pound bass on this thing. So if you're not able to use a bait caster, do not be afraid to grab a heavier action spinning reel. I have 18-pound braid, and then I tie a FG knot to, depending on what line, 12 to 20-pound test, and you'll catch every bass that you want.
Hey everyone, Brandon Palaniuk here, and one of the, I wouldn't say the biggest myth, but a pretty common myth in bass fishing is that everyone thinks you have to throw red in the spring because bass are only eating crawfish. But I have a slightly different theory on that. I believe that red is actually the most natural looking color fish see in that red light spectrum, but red's also the first color to disappear in the water. And so when you look at all of the bait, the bass included, in that muddier water, or when they're first coming up shallow in the spring, their lack of color. So if red is the first color to disappear in the light spectrum underwater, then it looks the most natural in the water. It's not just because they're only eating crawfish.
What's going on, guys? I'm Cody Huff. We're here at the Bassmaster Classic, and I've got a bass fishing myth for you. And that myth is all the bass live on the bank. Since forward-facing sonars come out, big smash in the middle. Bass live out there all year round. Pretty much any lake in the country. There's going to be bass that live offshore that probably will never see the bank. So that's my little bass fishing myth for you.
Hey guys, Tyler Rivet. We are at the Bassmaster Classic here in Tulsa. One bass fishing myth that I always heard is like whenever you lose that fish, you pop off, that you'll just never be able to catch that fish again. Well, we found out last week that you could catch them, or I found out for a while now that if you pop off on a fish, if you get it back in there quick enough, you could still catch that same fish. Crazy thinking about that, but when those fish are hungry, they don't even care what's hanging in their mouth. They're gonna eat it again. So y'all think about that whenever y'all tournament fishing. And you're getting mad if you lose a fish, throw back in there because you never know if it'll bite again.
Cory Johnston, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. We're talking about bass fishing myths today, and contrary to common belief, you can catch a bass without forward-facing sonar.
Hey guys, Will Davis Jr. My tip for you as an angler is to fish shallow in the wintertime. And when I mean the wintertime, I mean about the water's about to freeze. Some of the biggest fish in the lake never leave deeper than 5 foot, even in the coldest of the winter.
So there you have it. Pros have busted a bunch of myths for you. And if you want to check out another myth busting video about winter fishing, that's right down below me. Check out now, and I can't wait to see you there.